I knew that it was going to be hard, but it was straight built on mental resilience. I knew my body was going to probably give up on me, which ultimately it kind of did, but it was only a matter of mental resilience and fortitude that got me through. And I was like, I am strong. I am fierce. I am resilient. And I just kind of kept chanting that. And then like everybody was chanting that with me. In triathlon, you're going to have to fact check me on this, but essentially Black people make up less than 3% of the market. So just let that marinate for a little bit. And then when you think about the numbers, how many of the population are women?
Yeah.
It's like, it's like 1%.
Welcome back to the Toughest Finish Line podcast with me, Jen Doan, the podcast where we share the stories of resilience, reinvention, and the moments that shape who we become. This week, I've been trying to carve out a little bit more me time, and life can be full on, and I realised I needed to slow things down just a touch, even if that meant just getting outside for a walk and putting something inspiring in my ears. So I've been listening to a brilliant podcast called The Passion Stories, hosted by Emma Cole. It's a great show that explores what makes people tick and why passion really matters. Emma chats with world record breakers, filmmakers, artists, interior designers, and so many more fascinating individuals. What I love is how it highlights that passion looks different for everyone, but it's always powerful. It definitely reminded me to focus on the things that truly light me up. So if you're looking for something new to listen to, I definitely recommend giving it a try. And that actually leads perfectly into today's guest. Because today we're joined by an incredible woman who is living and breathing her passion, not just for sport, but for representation, opportunity, and change. She is championing Black women in sports, challenging outdated narratives and creating space where space hasn't always been given. She's been told she can't many times, and she's faced barriers that shouldn't exist. And yet, she's proving that every single day she absolutely can. This is a conversation about resilience, identity, courage, and the power of showing up, not just for yourself, but for the generations coming behind you. So let's get into it. So welcome to the show, the lovely Akilia O'Grady. Akilia, thank you so much for being here today. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? I'm good.
I'm all good, thank you. So to start off then, for listeners who have never met you and maybe don't know your story, how would you describe yourself beyond the world of sport?
Beyond the world of sport. Let's see. I am a mom. I have 2 children. Well, okay, I lie. I have 3 if you count my fur baby. So
Absolutely.
I have 2 young adult girls, and then I have a 3rd fur baby. Her name is Marley Josephine, and then they are just like my world. And they are also athletes, so we are an athletic family. I am a singer, so outside of athletics, I sing. I'm very family oriented. And I don't know, I'm just like a lover of life. So I'm just kind of loud and encouraging and just love to be around people. And I don't know. Oh, and I love to eat, which really helps with, with the athletic things.
Absolutely.
That's just kind of my thing. I don't know. I'm just, just kind of, I love to be around people and that's it. I'm a mom, really. That's my life.
And what a lovely
Anyway,
life that is. You are one of
rinse and
the
repeat.
most one of the most smiley, happy people that I've met. We first met in 2023 at the first Ironman World Championships that we raced together. And we're going to speak a bit about what has impacted your life and your development with training and racing. But I'm going to start off a bit differently and jump straight into last year's race, where we raced together at the Ironman World Championships in Kona.
Nice.
With the Ironman Foundation. And Your finish line video went viral
Yeah.
and is one that still gives me goosebumps, or chicken skin, as you call it in America.
Yeah.
It still just makes me smile so much because I'll try and share a link to your finish line video
Okay.
because it just showed how much that race meant to you. And I know it wasn't an easy ride getting to the race because you had an injury and things, but can you describe what that finish line felt to you?
Yeah. Oh god. Okay. So I haven't thought about that in a second. Actually, it's funny because I went on a training run yesterday with my cousin, and we had to accomplish a beastly hill. It's actually a hill that has created a roadblock in my life because every time I come by this hill, it truly is a roadblock. And I put this hill at the end of every training run because I use it essentially as like a gauge to see how far I'm coming in my training. And I told her, I
Mhm,
said, Shannon, and it actually was supposed to be at my in my cool down portion. I said, we're supposed to be cooling down. I said, but let's do it anyway. Let's like, and we're going and she was like, okay. And she goes to reach for her earbuds. And I was like, we don't need earbuds. And I start to draw from the finish line and I'm using the mantra, which was, you are strong, you are fierce, you are resilient, you are a warrior, right? And I'm pushing up this hill. And she's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, these are my finish line words. So it's like, but that's what the finish line was for me. It's like the theme of Kona was resilience. And I did
mhm,
not know that going into Kona at all. I had no idea. And life has a
mhm,
funny way of just kind of showing up for you when you need it.
mhm,
And as you know, as we've chatted prior to, Kona was a kind of a do-over for me in a manner such that I needed to kind of recreate a story and recreate a memory and really have a do-over to just kind of get a second chance to just kind of clear some things and
mhm,
fix the roadblock. And so it was a challenging day for me. I knew that it was going to be tough. I knew that it was going to be hard, but it was straight built on mental resilience. I knew
mhm,
my body was gonna probably give up on me, which ultimately it kinda did, but it was only a matter of mental resilience and fortitude that got me through.
mhm.
And, like, when I told my coach I was gonna do Kona, his immediate response was, "No." I Like, he was like, "No, we're not doing it." And he and I have been together for 7 years, and he's never told me no, and we've had some crazy ideas. 2 weeks before my 40th birthday, I said, "Hey, let's run 40 miles for my 40th birthday." He was like, "Okay." Right? And we just, like, figured it out, right? You know what I mean? Like, we just do, like, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but he was really against it, and he kinda, like, went silent on me for a couple of days and then came back and said, "Okay, well, if we're gonna do this, I need to tell you, like, the risks of what's gonna happen." Because that's what a coach is supposed to do, right? A coach is supposed to tell
Absolutely.
you, like, a really good coach is supposed to tell you, like, the pros and cons and, like, what can happen and to keep you healthy, and I'm happy to say, like, he's helped me be injury-free for the last 7 years. Like, I've had some injuries, but not because of his coaching, it's just because, your body needs help.
Yeah.
And so, once we, got past our little, argument. But he's like, "Physically, I don't know if you can do it, but mentally, I know you can." And that's what it took, and that's what the finish line was, and so when I got towards the end, and again, I knew I was, like, I was basically, like, dead last. And out there, once I got to the run, my body was like, "Okay, you think you're gonna run? You're not. Like, that's such a cute idea that you think you're gonna run." Excuse me. And, after about 5K, I, like, kept trying to run, and my body was like, "No."
Yeah.
Like, my back seized. It
Yeah.
completely seized up on me, and so, like, I just accepted the fact that I was gonna have to walk the marathon. And so, like, I would walk, and then I was like, "What are the things that I can do to adapt to make this happen?" I said, "Because I am not failing. I'm not gonna fail. Like, I have come too far. I have done so much in my life. I have overcome so much in my life, and
Mhm.
there's no way that this course is going to break me. There's no way. And I also knew that my mom was waiting for me at the end. And I was like, I just got to get to my mom. And she's been out here for 16 and a half hours waiting for me. My mom is 75 years old, right? And like that's a long day, right? Like shout out to the spectators and our family, their
Absolutely.
loved ones that wait for us and they hang out all day because it is a long day for us, but it is a long day for our family and friends and
Yeah.
and the loved ones that are following online. Like, like there's a text thread between my daughters, like, my daughters didn't come, but they were online, like, texting, and they were like, "Where is mom? Like, what is taking so long? Is she okay?"
I know. I
So,
know.
it was just and so I got to the end, and, um, I came down is it Palani, right? What is
Yeah.
the end that you come down and you turn right? And, like, the Roca team who I'd met early, shout out to Roca, I'm wearing their shirt. Um, they were at the end, and they had waited for me because I'd met them earlier in the week, and I'd made these connections and these
Oh,
relationships,
wow.
and they were down and oh my god, it was so great. Like, they were down at the end because, it's pitch black, like, it's literally pitch black,
Yeah.
and they were down there, and they were, like, calling my name, and then, Jill from our team came out because she had already, since finished and showered and eaten, like whatever. And she came out and she found me. And then Roland from our team came out because he was like worried about me. And like they were kind of like around parallel of me. And I was just like, I kind of went into like my little David Goggins like mental spot. And I was like, I am strong. I am fierce. I am resilient. And I just kind of kept chanting that. And then like everybody was chanting that with me. Like, that was like, "What is happening?" Right? And I just, like, kept going and going and going, and then I just got there, and I got to the end, and I was just like, "Yes!" It's just like
I
it's like
mean, you soaked up every second
oh,
of that
absolutely.
finish line. Well deserved. And
Listen,
yeah, the
my
smile on your
very
face.
my very first race, I'll never forget, at the athlete briefing, the race director said, enjoy your red carpet. Enjoy your finish line. It's your moment. And I
Yeah,
have never not taken that to heart. Every single one of my finish lines, listen, I love every single person that's going for a PR. More power to you. But are you kidding me? You know how long you worked for that day? Why are you racing across that red carpet?
absolutely.
No. No. By the time you get there, what's another couple of seconds? Maybe a spot, maybe a spot at Kona. Okay, fine. No, 2 or 3 seconds is not gonna break your day make or break your day.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Soak it
yeah.
up as much as you can. I
Oh,
mean, yeah, I've got goosebumps from you just chatting about it there because
oh,
that
the family
video.
was there, my mom medaled me, Solveig was there, Scott was there, Audra was there. I mean, it was like, oh my gosh, and then I think they said, "You are an Iron Man," and then I think I missed it because then they announced it again, and then, like, the whole crowd said it again together. So I had to go back and watch it. It was like it was pretty epic. It
Yeah,
was pretty epic. I was
it was.
I'm pretty blessed. It was pretty special.
Kick off your 2026 triathlon season the right way. World of Triathlon Live, powered by TriDot, is coming to Excel London on the 28th and 29th of March 2026. The UK's only dedicated triathlon expo brings together everything you need to level up your swim, bike, and run in 2 inspired days. Connect with the triathlon community, hear from coaches, pros, and industry leaders, discover brands, product launches, and exclusive offers. Get extra perks and goodies with VIP access, so why not treat yourself? Tickets start at just £10, so get yours now at worldoftriathlonlive.com. I'll also be appearing at the show, so come and say hi. It's only a few weeks to go, and I'll see you there. It was amazing. And I remember seeing you out on the run and you were heading out to the energy lab as I was coming back up and it was
Mhm.
pitch black. And,
Pitch
you
black.
know, I'm not the fastest, and so I was very much running on my own. I was like, "Oh my goodness," I was just so worried for you. But there was something in me that knew that you were going to finish that day. You could
Oh yeah.
see the determination in your eyes, and I was like, "Are you okay?" And you were like, "Yeah, I'm good. I've got
Got
it.
it.
It's
Got
fine."
it. I was doing it. And actually it was pitch black, but this is what I love about the women's race. I mean, honestly, I let me take it back. I love the women's race because obviously, like, that's what I've done. I can't speak for a co-ed race at a world championships, but like the women are so supportive, right? And so it was
Mhm.
pitch black. But as I'm going out and the other women are coming in, another woman came to me and she said to me, "Oh my gosh, like, do you need this?" And she handed me her headlight. And
Oh,
so then I was
amazing.
able to just use that because I didn't have a headlight because honestly, the year before I didn't have one, and I knew it was gonna be black going in, but I didn't get one because I just enjoyed soaking up the stars,
They were incredible in
right?
2023, weren't
But I
they?
was
Yeah.
so thankful that she gave me one because it was so, so, so dark. It seemed because it was cloudy, because
Yeah.
remember it rained a little bit?
Mhm.
And so I was glad that she had given me hers.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
I don't know if that's because it's the women's race and because women are extra supportive or because someone was just generous or that's just the triathlon community.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I can't
But
speak for anything else other than what I've
no.
experienced.
No,
Yeah.
but that community is next to none, and yes, that finish line will be something that I will watch over and over again as motivation to keep on going. So I will try and share it on our socials as well, so that people can see
Yeah.
it, because that was a truly special finish line, and it was a
Yeah.
super tough finish line with
Oh
having
my God.
being out for that length of time, your body giving up on you, but that mental strength and that resilience kept you going.
Yeah.
So I wanted to then go back to growing up for you, and what did sport and movement look like for you as you were growing up as a child?
Yeah. Absolutely. I was in a home where sport was a part of our life from the very beginning. My parents had us in multiple sports, something that's very different than now.
Yeah.
We did multi-sports depending on the season, which is really interesting compared to nowadays. Like
Hmm.
nowadays, it's like the children seem to find their sport when they're like 10 and then you're pigeonholed. So
Right.
for us, it's in our seasons, where I grew up, I played soccer starting at like, 8. And then in the summertime, which is really interesting for a lot of people to hear, I swam competitively. So I actually swam competitively starting at age 8, winter and summer,
Hmm.
competitive swim.
Hmm.
But and then it morphed into kind of like this cycle. So it was in the summer, I did swim, dive, and competitive tennis. And then in the
Wow.
fall, I did, once I got to high school, I did field hockey.
Okay.
In the winter, I did basketball. And then in the summer, I'm sorry, and then in the spring, I did track. And then I didn't like track because I don't like to run, ironically.
Which is ironic.
I know. Uh, and then my sports that really became my focus through high school were basketball and field hockey. And then
Hmm.
ultimately in college, I played field hockey. But
Right.
growing up in the summertime, I was a competitive swimmer and tennis player. So we were
Amazing.
always exposed to sport growing up.
Yeah.
We were just always an athletic family.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Wow. So, a
Yeah.
lady of many sporting talents there. And so, what brought you to the world of triathlon and endurance sport? How did you end up there?
Well, my mom likes to remind me that my first triathlon was when I was 12.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, I don't remember, but she's always like, "Your first try was when you were 12." I was like, "Really?" So then she brings up a picture. So, an
Mm.
important thing that I always like to remind people, back to the fact that I don't like to run, is that I always say that I never race for free. Okay,
Mhm.
so which is interesting because the triathlon that I did when I was 12 was for an organization called Make a Wish Foundation.
Right. Yeah.
So the Make-A-Wish Foundation is essentially, for those who don't know, is a organization that provides wishes for children that have diseases, or terminally ill, and then they have these wishes, and so then the funds go to grant these wishes. It could be anything from, I want to go to Disney World to I want to meet this, famous athlete, right? And
Yeah.
so the triathlon that I did was to raise funds for the
Oh, I
Make-A-Wish
love
Foundation.
that.
Yeah. And it was, I was 12, but I don't remember that one. So that was probably my first try.
Yeah.
Um, and then, so I was always a athlete, graduated, I got married, divorced, had a difficult divorce, but always used athletics as a way to kind of manage anything that was difficult mentally, emotionally, whatnot. So I kind of went back to sport to just use that as a way to kind of get through the stuff that was difficult in a
Yeah.
healthy way.
Mhm.
Um, and I ended up working for a company that did something called Bike to the Beach. Okay.
Okay.
And so Bike to the Beach is a event that is a 100-mile bike ride from Washington, D.C. to Dewey Beach all in one day to raise funds for autism awareness.
Mhm.
Okay. And that first year, I just was like a Sherpa. I supported. And I hadn't gotten back into biking yet, but I was working out because, again, I was dealing with my divorce,
Yeah.
right? But I was on the sidelines and I was like, this sucks.
Get me
Because
out
again,
there.
I've always been an athlete and I've always been on teams, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I can do this. And my brother, remember I said we were competitive athletes growing up? There's just the
Mhm.
two of us. He was like, there's no way you can do 100 miles in one day. I was like, oh yeah, watch me. And so the next year I was like, I'm going to do Bike to the Beach. He was like, there's no way in hell you're doing 100 miles in one day. I was like, yes, I am. And I'm raising money for it. I'm going to need you to donate to my funds. Okay. I'm not donating. What he did was he actually bought me a bike. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah.
mean, what
Yeah.
a brother.
I know. So we're competitive, but we really like each other. We really push each other. So his donation to my autism awareness ride was my first bike, which I actually used in my first triathlon.
Oh, wow.
So I did Bike to the Beach. And in that group of people, you find what's called your fit friends, is what I call them. And be careful who
Yeah.
you hang out with, because that group of people also had triathletes in it. And they were like, hey, Akilah, why don't you come do an Eagle Man was my very first like long course.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's the same course as Ironman Maryland that Ironman Maryland uses in Cambridge, Maryland. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, there's just no way. I hate running. Right. And my friends were like, oh, it's fine. Like, we are not going to leave you. We're going to make sure we train with you. And I'm like, okay. And I actually self coached my very first 70.3
Right.
because I knew that I could, like, I can follow a plan. Like, I found a
Yeah.
plan on like beginnertriathlete.com or something like that. Like, there are a million plans out there. Like, having a coach is amazing, but there are a million plans out there that
Mhm.
you can find. So just kind of a PSA to people trying to get into triathlon who
Yeah.
think that you need like all this stuff. You can do it on your own, but you need to have the right support.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, so I did. I self-coached. But we are a family affair. So once my mom found out that I was doing it, like for Christmas that year, I got like a new bathing suit and, like a swim buoy or something like that. Actually, no, no, no. I still use the same swim buoy that I used growing up from swimming. I still have
No
it.
way. Oh, what a
Yeah.
memory.
And
All those miles it's done.
I know, right? And so like that's my first one. So like I did my very first one, and I remember meeting a gentleman there, and he was like, um well, like, how are you? Like, how are you feeling? I said, oh my God, I'm so nervous. Like, this is crazy. I don't know why people do this stuff. I was like, one and done. He was like, okay, just you wait.
It never
and,
happens that way.
and I've now done what, 4 halves and 4 fulls. So, and that's it. Like, and kind of the rest is history. And so then, like, I finished my first half and I thought, oh, I've got more in the tank. But that first
Yeah.
one, though, remember I said I don't race for free. So that year, I raised money for Bike to the Beach because I did Bike to the Beach. And then I tied it to my hashtag is I race for Keb. That's my nephew who actually passed away. And
Oh,
so I raised money for Children's Hospital where we lost him. And so I got, with the permission of my brother and my sister-in-law, I wanted to make sure it was okay for them. And so I reinvested the funds into the hospital where we lost my nephew. And so then
wow.
that way I was able to just kind of like, I would swim and I could just like hear him like, come on, auntie, like you got this, whatever. And so then my kit
Oh,
that I used like had his name on it.
oh,
And so then that
wow.
way, yeah, it kind of pushed me through. But it's like I always want to race for a cause. Like I always want to like I will show up and do 100 miles. I will show up and swim 50 miles. You just got to tell me what we're doing for. Like I'm your girl. Seriously. Like I mean it's like
Yeah,
what are we raising awareness for? I'm never going to it's not that I'm never going to podium. Like I've podiumed in certain categories.
yeah,
But, like,
absolutely.
I know my limitations. Listen, I the average triathlete is what? Like, 5'8", 120 pounds? Go look at my pictures, that is not me. That's not me, I'm never gonna be that. Like, I'm 5'11", I'm close to 200 pounds. Like, that's not you know what I mean? Like, that's not I'm not gonna be that girl. So,
Mhm.
I use my platform for a way to raise awareness for other things, and I race because others can't, and I have a voice, and I'm okay talking, and they use my
Yeah.
picture for different things, and so then, like, let's use my platform for something else, you know?
Absolutely. And that's, one of the things I love about you is when I've met you, you've just had this absolute huge smile on your face all the time, but you're like, I'm here for a purpose. I'm doing this
Yeah,
for raising awareness. And it's not just for you. I mean, it's massively helping you, as you said, in
yeah,
terms of getting through life and with mental health and all of that. But you always do it for somebody else, which is such
yeah,
a shining example of an incredible person.
right.
Um, and I just want to pick up on something that my husband told me about you, which I didn't
Oh,
know,
oh gosh,
that,
what?
that he saw you out on the run course in Kona,
Okay,
and you were walking
right?
very early on in your race, and you said to him, "I always walk my
Oh,
first mile in the race."
oh, yes.
Why do you do that? What's the
Because
reasoning behind it?
I have to get my sea legs. Are you kidding me? We've been on the bike for the previous 5 hours. Always. Every race, the very first mile, I walk. Always. First of all, I'm exhausted. We've been you've been hunched over for, I mean, if you're Lucy, 4 hours, but if you're the average individual, it's like 6 or 7. Um, I like to stop and see my mom.
Yeah,
Okay. And then it's just kind of a way to like loosen up my body. And I don't know, my coach told me to do that like 6 years ago and it just kind of stuck.
yeah.
So I think it's a way to kind of get my mind right
Mhm.
to transition from like one event to the next. And I just give myself a chance to be like, okay, we just did this. A little bit of gratitude for the fact that we finished the bike. Our bodies did that for us. Giddy up. It's time to go.
Yeah. And
Right.
I wanted to highlight it because it just
Yeah.
shows that, obviously if you're going for a PB or if you're going for a qualifying position, and that may not be the best plan, but for people who, if they are struggling, then having those
Yeah.
strategies of going, right, like take the pressure off and just go, I'm going to walk this bit or I'm going to
Yeah.
slow run it. And that's okay to do if it's going to help you
Right.
get to that finish line.
Right.
So yeah, he told me about that and I was like, I love it that
Every
that's your
every
strategy.
single Every single race, I always walk the first mile after. It's like I just allow myself, I give myself that grace.
Yeah.
I just it's just too stressful. Some people just put a lot of stress on it, and listen, if that's for you, I applaud you. I celebrate everybody's wins. It's just not how I approach it.
Yeah. Yeah, and fair
So,
enough. I think
yeah.
everybody needs to give themselves a little bit more grace at
Some
times,
people
so
also shocker run the entire thing. Like, more power to you. That is not me. I can't. So,
but whatever works for you, whether it is run the whole race or whether it is taking some pauses, you've gotta
yeah,
make it work for you and have fun with it, and that's the thing I love about seeing you out on the course because you always just have the biggest smile on your face
yeah.
continually, but
Well,
motivation
people
for me.
people need that because there are some people out there that like are really having a hard time.
Absolutely.
They really are. Like, I remember being out on the run course, and there was this one woman in front of me, and I promise you, she looked like she was just on the verge of quitting,
Oh,
just about to quit. And I came, and okay, I know we're not supposed to be close to people. We're not supposed to draft and all this other stuff. But like when you get to like the 15th, 16th hour, people just they relax on the rules a little bit. Let's just put that out there. So like I can, and women are talking next to each other and we're walking next to each other and we're supporting each other. Like it happens. So like let's just call it out. So I got up there next to her and I was like, "Are you okay?" And she was having back issues too. And I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, but I just remember like this conversation and I was like, "Listen, we got this and we are going to do this and we're not quitting." Because at that point, I think we hadn't entered the energy lab yet, but we were close to it, which basically meant we only had like 10 miles to go, right?
yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay, 10 miles. You're not like 10 miles hurts worse than a DNF." You know what I'm saying? And so we just kind of talked through it, and a smile goes so much farther, or just a little bit of a courteous conversation. And I walked
Absolutely.
with her for a little bit. And I know that I had it in me. I was hurting like hell, but like the two of us together are so much stronger, and it doesn't hurt to flash somebody a smile. Yeah, there are people that are out there that are for PRs and you can see it. Like they are like blinders
In the
on.
zone. Yeah.
They have no desire to talk. As a matter of fact, 2 years ago, we were racing in April from our team. I caught up to her and we were riding side by side. We started singing together. It's like it gets lonely on the bike when you're out there by yourself. So, I came in from the bike. I started crying. Why did I start crying? Because I was so lonely. I was
Right.
so lonely for the
Mm.
previous like 5 hours. I had seen no one. And so to finally see somebody, it's like, "Oh my god, I made it back." And, like, there are people, honestly,
You
like,
made it through.
I did. I'm not kidding, because this year, I aged up, which put me in the last swim group. Ugh, like, the worst. God bless you when you age group, because when you age up, because 'cause you're younger than me. So, we were in the last swim group, and then, as you know, it was the most choppy swim that they had had in years.
Yeah.
Remember I told you I'm a swimmer? This swim almost took me out, which for me to say that is crazy because the swim is my strongest. It took me 30
Mhm.
minutes longer than it ever has taken me. I
Wow.
almost threw up in the water, which I don't do. So then by the time I got to the bike, basically everybody's gone. I didn't see anybody until almost Palani. Or not Palani, Javi, right? The little town. And so, like, by the time I got back from the bike, I was just like, I was so happy to see
There's
people.
people.
I was just like, I was so sad. I was just so lonely and defeated because the wind. I mean, you know
Yeah.
how the bike was.
It
Oh,
was
it
a
was
pretty
awful.
brutal race, all in all. And yeah, I
Oh,
think that it was seeing you and seeing you smiling. I think I had 6 miles to go when I saw you, or 8 miles to go when you were heading out and I was heading back in. And I was broken. I was literally in survival mode. And just seeing
right.
your face, I was like, you were so far back and you had such a mammoth task ahead of you, but you were just beaming. And I was like, come on, Jen, if Akilia can still be smiling at this, then smack a smile on my face. And I did.
Right.
I ran and I was like, I'm just going to force a smile because it
Right.
helped. It massively helped.
Yeah, telling you, these pearly white.
A smile goes a long way.
It does.
So you've now completed, as you said, multiple Ironmans. And one of the reasons why I wanted you on the podcast, not just because you are one of the most lovely, happy, smiley, inspirational people I know, but also because you race and you race raising awareness for Black women in sport, which there
Yeah.
shouldn't be that differentiation at all. But it's
No, I
the
know.
world that we are in.
Yeah.
And I know from conversations that we've had. that being a female from an ethnic minority is not the easiest in the world of triathlon.
Yeah.
And a couple of episodes back, we had Bianca Fernandez on, who chairs the UK charity Women in Tri. And she shared how she still gets told things like, you're black, you shouldn't be a swimmer, or you won't ever be able to swim. And I just wanted to pick up with you on this because I imagine you must have heard this narrative quite a bit. And I just wondered what your experiences of this were.
Yeah. Um, tr- in triathlon, you're going to have to fact check me on this, but essentially, Black people make up less than 3% of the market. So just let that marinate for a little bit. And then
Mm,
when you think about the numbers, how many of the population are women?
yeah.
It's like, it's like 1%.
Hmm.
And, my experience is really when people come to me and they want to hear about triathlon, they want to hear about the sport, and then they say, oh, well, what's your best event? And the automatic assumption is that my best event has got to be the run. Why? Because if you look across, sport,
Yeah.
if you look at the population of folks in sport, generally thinking, you're going to find that, African Americans and black folks are runners. Well, and then I come back up with, actually, the swim is my strongest event. And then I get this. Wait, what? Yeah, shock factor. I'm a swimmer, you know? And, I think a lot of it comes back to access.
Hmm.
I mentioned earlier that I was a swimmer growing up. I had access to a pool. There are a lot of Black women and Black men who don't swim because one, they don't know how to swim. Two, they didn't have access to pools. Three, Black women don't wanna mess up their hair. I'm just gonna say that too, right?
Yeah.
Black women don't wanna mess up their hair because there's this whole narrative around your natural hair or having your hair done, and then the challenge around hair maintenance and what chlorine can do to your hair or just the process of washing your hair, right? I mean, and it's not just Black women, it's just women in general. So there's all of these things behind the scenes, and hair is never gonna be the reason why I am not healthy. Um, but it's just one of those things where you have to keep pushing the narrative and you have to keep disrupting the conversation. Um, and so we do have a triathlon group called Black Triathletes Association.
Okay.
But the thing is, on the Facebook group, the population of people that I see engaged tends to be the same. So I think that there are people that are trying to get involved in the sport, but
Mm,
maybe are maybe a little shy or still trying. Maybe they're intimidated because people think that triathlon has to be long course. I want people to understand that you don't have to do long course. You can
yeah.
do short course. I think people associate triathlon with Ironman without realizing, like, you can do a sprint, you can
Yeah.
do 70.3, you can do a duathlon,
Hmm.
right? And you can just try, TRY, not TRI. But I do. And there's this running joke in our family that Iron Man uses my face for everything. After every race that I do, my face is plastered everywhere, and it's not lost on me why they do that. And I'm okay with it. I really am. And the after Kona, I took one of the recent promotions that Iron Man used and I plastered it in the Black Triathletes group and I said, "Listen, if we're going to ask for representation, I'm happy to be that face because they're not using me because I'm on the podium. They're using me because I'm a pretty face, I smile, and I look like this. It
Yeah.
is what it is, right? So I took it back to the Black Triathletes Association group and I said, y'all got to keep showing up. It's true because there are some wicked fast people in that group and there are people that
Absolutely.
are qualifying, they are working their butts off, they are faster than anything I have ever experienced.
Mm,
Their whole lives are built around triathlon. They are like up at 4 o'clock in the morning. They are meal prepping.
yeah.
They are writing books. They are qualifying. They are representing various brands. I mean, they are pushing the narrative. They just need a
Mhm.
platform, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, and so I'm like, okay, I'll be the face. Y'all got to show up. So, but yeah, I'm a swimmer, and the what I have received has just been the shock factor of the fact that I'm a swimmer,
Yeah.
and that's always been, the question of like, how is it that you swim? How what is that? But actually, in the Black Triathletes Association group, we have one woman who twice now, three times now, she's done like an ultra swim.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, we swim, we're fish, we're mermaids.
Yeah, absolutely you are. And,
Fairness.
yeah, I swam with you. We did a kind of we went out for a pre-swim before race day, and yeah, seeing you off in the water was just incredible. You're a machine in the water, and
Yeah.
absolute inspiration just to me in terms of, but also to, as we say, other Black women out there. That there is this narrative that's out there still, sadly. And
Yeah.
do you have any thoughts about why that narrative still exists?
Um, I don't know. I think it's just sometimes people need to be open to a dialogue and open to a conversation,
Mhm.
right? And we had Sika Henry a few years ago, who was
Yeah.
the first professional female black triathlete. And it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Like she was out there and she was working hard and she worked so hard to get to where she was. And then she kind of took a step back. And I think it's because she was just so tired. It's hard to be the first. Like it's hard to, put all that energy and work into it. We have another gentleman in our group who's like, every time I look at his page, I'm like, oh my God. Like at one point, I'm not kidding. I had to snooze his posts because I was just exhausted with the stuff that he was doing because
Wow.
it's so much work trying to disrupt the narrative, and actually I'm kind of embarrassed that I had to snooze his page because
Mm.
instead of snoozing his page, I probably should have just kept resharing it, but it's almost like I was just tired for him. I'm like, "You're up at 4 a.m. and you're pushing this, and then you're being with family, but then you're pushing this," because it's like what you're trying to do is continually push the narrative because you're trying to get the recognition that you deserve,
Mm.
and it's, it might be because there's so few. It
Yeah.
might be because it's access,
Yeah.
because maybe we're still, the bike and the run is there, but people are still learning how to swim. The
Mhm.
fear of swim,
Yeah.
and the access. I think that's why I love the foundation so much. I love the Swim Ready program that the Ironman Foundation has. And so it's like they're offering the free swim lessons to the adults and the children, right? So it's like once we get over that hump, then the other pieces can fit together.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But we have to be willing to have the conversation. We have to be willing to break down those barriers and come together and have that conversation, or get past the frustration of like, okay, we didn't have this. Fine. Well, now let's work together so we can,
Can
do
have it.
this, right? It's like I would love it. And I don't know if we do or if we don't, but I don't know if we have full long course um uh um what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh. Long course what is it? Relays. I
Oh, I
think it's only
see. Yeah. Mhm.
I think we only have 70.3 relays.
Yes, I think we do. Yeah.
But, like, if we had long course relays, I bet you more people would show up,
Yeah.
you know? Um, and so it's just I think it'll come in time. I think it'll come in time.
Mhm.
Um, but it's just gonna I don't know, I don't have the answer.
No.
I don't have the answer. I just know that I can do what I can do. I can
Absolutely.
just continue to show up where I can. I can continue to use my platform how I can. I will keep smiling on every race course that is asked of me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
again, like I said, I'm not the fastest. I'm never going to be the fastest, but I will show up where I can. I will use my platform how I am asked,
Mhm.
in the most positive way possible. and provide an opportunity where I see available and open
Hmm.
doors for others if I can.
I love
You
that.
know, like
Yeah.
that's all I can do.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. But that's not all. That is a huge, huge thing. And I'm sure for a lot of Black women,
yeah,
obviously, I don't know myself, but I'm sure for a lot of Black women, that will massively impact their
yeah,
lives. And seeing you as this shining example of that you can go out and do it. And because I
yeah,
know, having spoken to people, that hearing that type of narrative has massively put them off from
yeah.
giving it a
Well,
go.
and actually, like, after the Kona finish line, like, after they reposted that, right, I did get a lot of DMs from a lot of Black women that,
Oh,
came
amazing.
to me and they said, "Oh," like, directly, like, "How do you do this? Like, how did you get into this? And what is the option here?" Or even, like, the fear of open water swimming, because it's not just swimming in the pool, it's open water swim,
Yeah.
right? I mean, like, that's scary for a lot of people.
I think most people would say that.
Most
Yeah.
people, right? And for me, I'm like, I love a good open water swim. I'll swim in open water all day compared to the pool, like, like a hamster on a treadmill versus being open, right? It's like, oh, um, and so it's just providing that
Mm,
support. And it's just a matter of like, oh, somebody posts something and it's like, hey, I got 500 yards today. It's literally a matter of just like liking their page and giving them
yeah.
a thumbs up, and slight encouragement is
Mhm.
it goes so far. So
Yeah.
I pride myself on being aware of like what everybody else is doing and just drawing from that, and just a little bit of extra encouragement goes so far. It just,
So far.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's with everybody, isn't it, in life, that anybody gets a little bit of encouragement, it just encourages them to go out and do what they want to do and get to where they want to be. And so, yeah, I think you have been the face of quite a few Ironman
Oh,
campaigns, but if it's going to help inspire other women, then as you say, why not? Let's keep going with it.
thanks.
And so I just wondered if this is kind of a bit of a platform where we can share things and, we may not
Yeah.
change the world, but if there was anything that race organizers could do, have you thought about anything that could help more Black women get into sport?
Oh man. Into things that race organizers could do to help Black women get into the sport of triathlon,
Into anything
or
really,
just,
because I know it's
yeah.
definitely it's not just a triathlon concern, is it? It's wider than that.
Yeah, it is wider than that. I mean, there are different organizations out there, right? You've got Black Women Run, you've got Latino women run, Latino men run, Black women run, Latino women run. You've got all those different things. You've got the different meetups and whatnot. I think it's just the continuous access,
Hmm.
promotion of these different things, and I think also maybe allowing people the opportunity to show up and not know that it has to be such a daunting task. I think, like, for me, right? Like, if we use Iron Man, for example, I don't want people to think that, oh, okay, you have to do a full Iron Man, right? One of my favorite things that I supported was a friend of mine who wanted to do a 5K. In her world, that 5K was an Iron Man. It took her
Yeah,
a little over an
absolutely.
hour. Some people do a 5K in 18 minutes.
I know.
But I paced her on her 5K, and it was one of the hardest things she had ever done. And so I think it's just providing the idea that inclusion is for everybody and that triathlon or sport is for everybody. I mean, look, think about Ironman Foundation. We've got Adrian Bunn, who's got autism, right? We've got
Mhm.
the young woman on our team who had cancer. We have the young woman on our team who survived homelessness, right? We've
Yeah.
got, your story sharing from postnatal depression. We've got somebody on our team who was dealing with MS, right? It's like we've got all of this inclusion. We've got women, we've got mothers, we've got single moms, we've got people from all different race, creeds, and backgrounds, and financial challenges and financial statuses. And
Mhm.
so I think it's just a matter of ideally providing support, and providing the resources.
Yeah,
And so when you provide resources and support for folks, I think that's when people show up. And I
absolutely.
think race directors, if they can show that things are tangible and that they are available, that's when people are there. And when you provide realistic views into things,
Mhm.
then things are available, right?
Yeah.
Because when you only show the top echelon, then it's like, "Oh, okay, there's no way I can do that." Do you know how
Mhm.
many people come to me and they're like, "There's no way I could do what you do." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm just a regular human. Listen, I'm a single mom of 2 children, and, you know, I'm, again, not the best at what I do. I just show up and do what I can, and I give myself grace.
Yeah.
Ergo, the 1-mile walk before I run."
Yeah.
And I pride myself on being fully transparent. Ask me anything, I'm gonna tell you. You might not like the answer, but I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
It's true,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'm fully transparent. My whole social media is about that. My whole platform is about being fully transparent. The good, the bad, the ugly. I don't put on, like, a full face of makeup when I'm on my social. I don't care about that. Like, it's like what you see is what you get.
Mhm.
And I think when you get the realistic view of what
Yeah.
you can and can't do, you're gonna get people to show up. I think when you show, like, this, like, reinvented fake version, that's
Yeah.
when people feel like they can't achieve it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I know, there's pros and cons to it and it shouldn't be this way. But when Iron Man shared your finish line story, it was that true reflection of
Yeah,
man, how tough that was. You've been out there for 16 plus hours, but that's real and that's
it's
you
real.
still achieved something incredible and that's okay that it took
Yeah.
that long and look what you did. So I was so happy that it went as viral as it did and
Well, I mean, like, 1 s 2 okay, and I love to read every single comment because that's I'm gonna reply to every comment too, right? So
yeah.
in that fashion, 90% of the comments were ridiculously supportive, but then you have the handful of folks that are gonna have their issues with it,
Of
okay?
course. Yeah.
And of course, a couple of them were consistently, "Well, how did she make it to the world championships? What
Mhm.
was her time? Why was she there?"
Yeah.
I call myself a thickly, okay, because 'cause I'm not gonna be, like, all long and lean. How is it that she was able to even accomplish that? And again, back to the fact that I look like I do. You wanna talk about Black women, full transparency. I had a personal, like, um, challenge with myself going into this race because I wasn't, at race weight, like, I'm going through menopause currently, like, I just had a hysterectomy actually
Mhm.
right after the
Yeah.
race, which kicked me into full-blown menopause, but prior to that, I was, like, perimenopausal, okay? So you think about what we do for training, and I'm still putting on all this weight. I had put on, like, 20 pounds going into Ironman. That's
Mm.
not, like, normal, right? And so I'm not at race weight. I don't look like all the others. I can look at pictures from 10 years ago, and I'm like, "That's not, like, my, normal racing
Mhm.
physique." And then you plaster my picture everywhere, and I don't look like so I'm having, like, all of these issues, but I'm like, "You
Of
know
course.
what? If I can show average looking women that they can still do this, I'm gonna suck it up and get over it."
Yeah.
And yeah, not most people are gonna finish in 10 hours.
No, absolutely not. I mean,
So
Kona is a beast for even as we saw at the World Championships with two of
yeah,
the so many of the pros didn't finish and didn't make it round. So it's
right.
to get to that finish line is incredible.
Exactly. So it's like, yeah, how is she there? I can't believe what was her time? Who cares what my time was? That's why the rules say you have 17 hours. If the
Mhm.
rules were that you can't have 17 hours for a world championship, then they would change them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And back to your point about or your question of what can the race directors do? I think it's just and I think they're starting to do this, but I think it's
Yeah.
continuously showing
Yeah.
that everybody is welcome in this sport and
Yeah.
everybody should try. And by
Mhm.
having the inclusion of all people and
Mhm.
showing that, it's starting to show folks that, hey, and even down to the Iron Kids. I love that,
Yeah.
right?
It's love it.
It's like they have that little race of the kids beforehand. It's like getting the kids excited to be a part of something and then they're with
Yeah.
their moms and their dads. I love that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's a true inspiration for those little ones, being able to get
Yeah.
that race and do a finish line. I mean, my little girl, we did a race at New Year, whilst we were on holiday, and she found it hard, but the resilience and what lessons she learned doing that race. And I said to her, it's up to you if we do this, but he had it in it. She was like, I want to do it. I'm going to go and
Right.
do it. And if you can
Right.
get that support into a child from an early age, I mean, it's exciting for what their future's going to look like, isn't it?
Exactly. Exactly. I
Oh.
mean, I think, and there's so much that a person can learn from being a part of team sport and
Hmm.
being a part of, I think, two things. I think a person needs to do an individual sport and a team sport, right? So as a swimmer and a tennis player, I got that, right? It's like you have your individual component where you need to have your own personal drive
Hmm.
and you need to be able to push yourself. And then the team component, knowing that you have to hold yourself accountable, knowing that you're accountable to your
Yeah.
teammates. Can you be coachable? Can you learn from your mistakes? Can you be supportive of your other teammates? Are you able to hold yourself high knowing that you might not get in the game, but you have a
Hmm.
role to play and to be maybe the Sherpa that day?
Yeah.
Your role is to make sure your teammate succeeds. And
Yeah.
what does that teach you going into life? Like there's so many life lessons. Oh,
Yeah.
there's my puppy. There's so many life lessons that you can learn
Hmm.
from sport that are transferable to everyday life.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's so key,
Yeah.
especially for
Absolutely.
women. I mean, I'm all about hashtag support women's sports. I'm
Yeah.
so passionate about supporting women's sports because women learn so much and it takes them into leadership roles and it
Mhm.
gives them confidence, especially in their social circles. And right now in the world, ugh, it's so ugly. I mean, I have teen kids, so teen daughters. So it's so
It's
important.
It's brutal out there, isn't it, for a lot of it, and that sport is often what helps kids through and make it in life. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I
absolutely.
absolutely can agree with you there. Oh, Akilah, thank you so much. I just want your face. I'd love just to see your face every morning because it would just brighten up my day. I might just screenshot it because your smile just radiates and is infectious massively.
Oh, thank
And
you.
so I just wanted to finish as we do with all our podcasts in terms of if there was a black female who was thinking about I want to go and do this, but was
Mhm.
listening to the narrative that is out there that's saying, you can't do it or you shouldn't do it. What would you say to her?
I'd say do it anyway. You can do absolutely anything. And frankly, we have come so far. And so if
Mhm.
you were to stop, you would be doing yourself a disservice. It's like there's somebody out there that is hoping you fail, and you need to give them a reason. You need to be able to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
We've come so far. There's so much more out there to accomplish.
Mhm.
And so to stop now would be doing yourself a disservice. And frankly, tomorrow you is going to thank today you for actually showing up for yourself.
Love that. Love that. And so if anybody did have any questions for you or wanted to get in touch, what's the best way for them to follow your story and to
They
reach out
can
to you?
follow me on Instagram. So you can find me Akilah Jones O'Grady on Instagram. My account
Mhm.
is lively and public, and I usually answer everything. And come on over and join the party. You are strong, resilient, and you are fierce, and we are all warriors. And I welcome all to the party and have a good time. Just show up and also continue to have fun because if it's not fun, we're not coming back tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Akila. It's been lovely chatting with you, and I wish
Oh,
you all the best. I know you just said to me earlier that you haven't gotten your next race planned, but I doubt it'll be long until there is something next on
oh
your
no,
books. So
but
I wish you
I
all
got a
the
birthday,
best.
so it's always something crazy. Always have something crazy planned on my birthday. So regardless, we're doing something in April. So we'll see what
I
happens.
look forward to seeing what that is on socials. Akila, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.